You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
Guys, obviously, education is the goal of all the different things that you work to do through your workshops, through this radio program, through the various media channels and outlets that you use. Let's talk about some of the things that, well, one thing in particular that people maybe don't have so much awareness of and what it can be doing to their savings. The idea of fees. If you are working with an advisor, or maybe you just have a portfolio at a bank and you don't know what you're really paying back to that bank and or the advisor, that's what I want to break down here in this segment. Because if you look at everyday life, I mean, what's 1%, right? It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit.
It's a tiny thing.
Not that big of a deal. If you were to give your waitress a 1% tip, though,
be smacking you.
See how far you make it out of the restaurant before hearing a little lip from that hardworking person.
Absolutely.
Or if you got, your annual raise, right? This is kind of a standard, like 2 to 5% annual raises, just standard of living. But if only your annual raise was 1%, you might be wondering what's going on, making you a little bit angry. So when your financial advisor says his fee is only 1% of your total savings, you might shrug it off because it's not very much. Or is it? That's what I want you guys to explain to us today. Let's do some number crunching to understand the math about what can a 1% fee do to a financial plan over time.
Yeah, it can really affect things. I mean, it can erase a large share of your retirement if you have those extra fees in the portfolio.
Okay.
And the thing is, some of these folks, they tell you, well, the fee is 1%.
Yeah.
The fee is 1%. But that's not necessarily the all-in fees,
Okay.
And I think that's important to know, too, because what are the internal fees? What are all of these things? Because that can make a tremendous, tremendous difference. I mean, Forbes did a study. They showed how investing $1,000 a month for 40 years at a 9.7% return should grow to about $5.8 million.
That's crazy.
But
okay.
but guess what? If you take 1% in fees more, instead of $5.8 million, now you've got $4.3 million.
So that's if you were taking 1% off of that $1,000 a month investment, it goes
exactly in fees, and that makes a difference of $1.5 million. That's a tremendous difference, and it doesn't stop there, does it?
No. And in your head, you might be thinking, well, it's $1,000 a month if $10 goes to fees. That's not going to be such a big deal.
Yeah.
But over time and extrapolating it, it makes a huge difference. And then if there's layered fees, if there's, a mutual fund fee, because it's not usually just an advisory fee. Usually there's an advisory fee, and then there's a cost for the internal cost of the investment. So mutual funds, we see sometimes have up to a 1%, sometimes more than that in fees, but let's just call it a 1% fee. And if you have 2% total in fees, 1% for the advisor, 1% for the mutual funds, that same portfolio that would have earned up to about $5.8 million after that 40-year period, you're looking at about $3.2 million. So we're looking at almost half. I mean, $2.6 million less than a scenario without fees. Now, is it possible to have a no-fee scenario? It's very unlikely.
Okay.
Usually there's going to be some costs associated with it, but be cognizant of those costs. Learn, well, what am I paying? How does this work? Not everybody is super transparent with their fees. With our clients on our statement, we say exactly, this is what your fee is. So they see it every month. But not every case are people required to disclose that information.
Okay.
Variable annuities is a good example of where even on your statement, it's not going to show what all the fees are that you're paying. And unless you have a company like ours, or to call the insurance company and say, hey, what is your mortality and expense charge? What is your income rider fee? What is your death benefit rider fee? What are the internal costs of the mutual fund fees?
Because all those things you're listing, those are all different fees that we could be paying within one, in that case, an annuity, one tool, one investment tool?
Yes. These are all different fees that you could be paying within just one of those investments. And so if you don't know how much you're paying, you're probably overpaying. You're probably paying more than you need to be. And I just had a conversation with a client about, hey, did you know your advisor was charging all these different fees in your different investments? And they said, well, we kind of just trusted him to do his job, and we didn't really talk about fees. We didn't really look at fees. And they're like, we kind of dropped the ball on that one. We really should have known that. And I was like, well, it's our job as your fiduciary retirement planner to look into and give you a side-by-side comparison, showing you what are your fees where you're currently at, what are your fees going to be with us. And we showed them how they could save a lot of money in fees, by having that analysis done and by showing them this is where you're at and this is where you can be.
Okay.
And let's just say this too. There are some things that say there are no fees, but there actually are fees. And it's not like, you should expect people to work for free and that type of thing. But they need to provide. They need to provide the value of what they're doing.
The clear value. Like, just be honest. Just tell me what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they're going to charge you this much.
Yeah.
They need to provide significantly more than that in value, and that's what's important to folks.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what we do is we can actually run a complimentary fee analysis for you on your investments. Look through, hey, where are these monies located at, and is there maybe some fees you don't know about? Let's put a side-by-side comparison on page 2 of your retirement roadmap summary, where we're going to be able to show you, here's where you're at. Here's what the fees you're paying. Here's what the fees you're paying with us. Here's the value you're getting, what your return and risk is of that current investment. And here's the value you're getting, the return and risk of working with us. So you have a clear comparison and you can see what is the value that you're getting. And so if you want to have a complimentary fee analysis ran for you, we're going to be able to run that for the next 5 callers today. All you have to do is give us a call. If you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now and we'll put together a complimentary fee analysis for you in that retirement roadmap. So that number to dial is 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722. Or find us online at abetterwayfinancial.com.
This all kind of reminds me of that couple that came in from Stroudsburg. They had been listening to our radio show for a while, and they were like, let's check these guys out. Let's see if they can help us in some way. He was like 71 years old. She was 69. They saved a decent sized portfolio. They had $1.2 million saved. They lived a nice lifestyle on $65,000 a year, and they just want to know, could they do any better? And then we did an analysis and we showed them the difference, didn't we?
Yeah, we looked into their statements. We saw what were the fees that they were paying. We wanted to run that fee analysis for them. And we saw that their advisor was charging a 1.95% advisory fee. The top ones that we see in the industry are like 2%. So they're like right at the top of that advisory fee that they're paying. Mm-hmm. The internal costs for their mutual funds and investments were around 0.81%. And not even all their funds were managed. So the total fee for them was close to 2%, about 1.98%.
Okay.
So on the higher side in the industry, usually 1 to 2% is what we see. Our fee is usually less than that. In their case, our fee was about 0.67%. Okay. Which, though it's only 1.3, 1.4% difference in dollar terms, that's about $15,600 per year.
Really?
That's significant.
That they would be saving in fees.
Yeah.
And not only that, if they were getting that kind of value, $15,600 more in value, then I'd say, let's keep it the way that it is. But that wasn't the case. Okay. We looked through their investments over the past 25 years, and we showed that where they're currently at versus with us, they would earn about 0.5% higher investment after fees with us than where they were currently. Wow. So a higher return. Yeah. And then we look to see, okay, well, where's the risk? Are they taking more risk with us? Are they taking less risk with us? And we were actually reducing their max drawdown, or the most they would go down in the 2008 type crash, from 47%, or about almost half their portfolio, to about 27%. Wow. To around a quarter of the portfolio. So we're taking half the risk and still getting them a higher projected return for a lower fee as well. Wow. And so that's almost $225,000 more of principal protected during that next market crash, which could be happening within the next few years. And when that happens, you want to make sure that principal, that portfolio is protected. You're not taking on more risk than you feel comfortable with. So what we did for them is we put together a complimentary risk and return as well as a fee analysis to show them where they were at. And if this is something you're looking to have done for you, let us put one together for you. If you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more, give us a call for your own complimentary risk and return as well as a fee analysis, where we're going to show you where you're at, what returns are you getting, what level of risk are you taking, and how can we protect you from fees? How can we keep you within your personal risk tolerance? So if you want to have this done for you, all you have to do is give us a call. Our number is 610-440-3722, and we are offering this right now for the next 5 callers. That's 610-440-3722. 888-888-8822 or find us online at abetterwayfinancial.com.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.